Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of A Drink with
Mary
and Mina, and I've got my classic tea.
I've got ginger and lemon tea.
Guess who's out of isolation?
Yeah, guess who's still not recovered?
Also, my period is finishing today and tomorrow, so I am double happy.
How does it feel?
Freedom. But also, I think those of you who might have watched our YouTube or keep up with our YouTube channel, we are kind of on a health transformation with our exercise and everything, diet and everything. And I don't know, foolishly or unfoolishly, we both signed up to a half marathon, which is in like 4 months' time. So this morning, we dragged ourselves out of the bed and we've both run like 2K each.
I did 2.5 because you're supposed to, basically the plan is you're supposed to hit 3 runs, no?
Yeah.
So because of my chest infection, half the week I was just like, I couldn't. Only the last 2 I pushed through, 2.5 months. I haven't hit the 3 yet. So I guess I'm 1 week behind the schedule for everyone. But it's been
That's
okay.
all right.
I ran my first ever 2.5. I mean, it was like 25 minutes, but still did it. I never thought I would do it.
No, that's good. That's good. Your timing. I mean,
for beginners, I guess.
After 2 weeks of training, I can now run about 3K without stopping. And I was like, that's a huge achievement. And I was like, anyway, enough about run. But Mary, I think you're probably doing it in support of cancer.
Yeah, I am. I'm doing it for cancer because few of my loved ones have been affected and few have passed away. So I don't know if I want to raise funds yet for this.
You should, man.
I think I should. I will post it when I can, and when I have the time to actually organize it. But yeah, I might because Mary never runs, number 1, and number 2. I'm doing it for a cause.
Half marathon.
I
honestly did not know how much half marathon was, and they were like, it's 13.1 miles. And I'm like, when you say it in miles, it doesn't sound that bad, right?
21K.
But then they said it's 21K. I was like, what the? Like, I have never run, like, not even a 5K, not even 2.5K. We have both never run, have
But
we?
you've ran like. You've sprinted in the past, like as a child. You're
sprinting and running long distance is completely different.
But I've never done any of those, so that's a different story. I've never done. To give you a background history, why I never ran is I've got knock knees.
Yeah.
People said I could never run.
Yeah.
So I sort of accepted that, I guess, because hinna duksanta with the flat feet and everything. So I just thought, hinna duksa mane why running. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So I got myself like I went to a test called Runner's Needs. Sami sis sent me the link. She was like, try this, and then I went, did the assessment, and then they recommended me shoe. The shoe is very comfortable enough. Thought because my feet has never been trained with arc like all the time. I don't think it's ideal for like half marathon oiling. I mean, longevity could probably thought I strain so much on that, like the focus is on this.
Maybe you haven't broken into the shoes.
Probably, yeah. I mean, it's only the 3rd time that I've worn it. So.
Yeah. On the other hand, I have no excuse, so I gotta run. I might get asthma attack, but inhaler will do. It doesn't matter.
Did you pay already?
Huh?
Pay on where?
Yeah, I've already signed up.
Did you get a t-shirt?
No, I did not.
I got a t-shirt as well.
Oh my god.
I was like, do you know what? Okay, this is my first ever run in my life. I'm going to get it all out of the way. So I want a medal hanging. That's it. That's all I need.
But anyhow, so the topic for today was actually sent in by one of our viewers,
listeners,
yeah. We do put out messages saying, oh, what do you want us to talk about? We always have done, but there's never not been much response. So if you are listening to this, pause, and if you think you want us to discuss or talk about some issues that you're having or whatever, that you want to have a different perspective on, just pause this, send us a DM, say, can you talk about this? and send us a
Yeah.
DM, okay?
So that's sinergi.studio on Instagram.
Yep.
If you are difficult to reach, so that's our handle.
Yeah. So one of our viewers sent in this, and I think we can all probably relate, especially UK Nepalese community. It basically said living with parents as an adult or living with in-laws as an adult. I think in-laws ko ta we can't give much input. I might be able to get a tiny amount because I live half of my week in my home and then half of a week with Diwash and his parents. So I might be able to give a little bit of tiny amount of input there.
Yeah.
But we'll mostly be talking about living with your parents as an adult. So let's start this stress, full of stress.
Disclaimer out there, no. How do I say it? So there are a lot of different types of Nepalese parents as well. Let's put it out there. So disclaimer, say, I think I've had the all stages of, I've experienced all types of Nepalese parenting within a parent. Does that make sense?
Do you have a parent who goes through personality disorder?
I mean, within like, I guess it's growth more than like having disorder, bipolar, and then it's like part of growth.
The person has changed over time.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So in that way, perspective, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, where do I start?
Anyway, do you enjoy living with your parents?
It's a hit or miss. I partially live at home as well. I do. Like half of the time I'm away from work, so it's like half home, half somewhere else. So that's like a perfect balance for me right now.
Yeah.
I mean, no gharka na gharka situation. You go home, you eat yummy food, and then you dip out.
Yeah.
So it's like part-time living, I guess.
Yeah.
So I would say I kind of enjoy it. But I don't know if I really do, if I don't. So I do in the sense that you come home, dinner's ready for you, and so, like everything's there. You're saving so much money, not living out, etc., etc.
Not eating out.
Not eating out. Not living out as well. Like if you move out, like you have to pay massive amount of rent on everything.
Oh yeah.
So you're not doing that. So in that sense, yeah, you're saving a lot of money. But we can't even complain about freedom because you and I, we both are quite. We don't really say, oh, my mom, dad, like, or my eyes.
We don't have much restrictions from our parents in terms of going out, in terms of what time we come home, in terms of what we are allowed and not allowed to do. We don't have any. I don't think any restrictions
at all. No restrictions at all. So in that sense, say physical freedom, yeah, we have that. But if you're talking emotional freedom. Let me call my therapist. Ring, hello.
I think everybody is kind of. Malaysia, I've always wanted to live by myself. I think that has always been the case, and in the past year or two, I've had the opportunity to have the house to myself, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I think I just like, basically what it is, right, is I like the freedom and I like nobody in my space. Like, it sounds a bit type go because I'm such a social butterfly. But at home, I want my space, I want my freedom, I want my peace. When I'm at home, if it's not winter, I hate wearing clothes. So I want to go around home naked, basically. And I don't, and especially when living with parents and your siblings, if you don't have two toilets, and sometimes with even with two toilets, sometimes three people have to go at the same time. And you know what we are like, phones and telephone. Like with phones and toilet, it's a long time in the toilet. So you have to literally knock. And I think I want that sort of freedom. So I would say right now, because I live with my parents and a couple of my siblings, privacy is hard, but also at the same time, you want more.
I'm a very open person, but I'm very private at the same time. I agree with you. Like, how do I say it? The walking around home naked and eat the toilet party, yeah, it's inconvenient. But that's the least of my inconvenience, okay? To me, sometimes, like, I go through a lot of emotional recharge phases, okay?
Oh, yeah.
And in your phases, might say sometimes living with parents or even any other human being.
Yeah.
I can't completely do that because you're given tasks of things that you actually have to do.
Yeah.
So it prolongs it. Okay? So I always think if I ever settle down with a partner or if I even marry, we'd have to have an extra bedroom.
Yeah,
just
definitely.
for those days. Like,
definitely.
I don't think I can physically imagine sleeping with a person 365 days of my life.
Yeah. Oh.
I physically cannot.
I honestly, this is what I've always told you as well. Like, if we always need that extra bedroom, because sometimes I just need my space and quietness, and like, I just don't want you near me sometimes, or nobody. It's not don't take it personally, and it's not you, it's just another human being. I do not want to be another human being. Sometimes I just want to just lie in bed and just drift into my own world, whether that's for hours or days. Because that's sort of like therapeutic as well.
Because your body crashes, Nita. So when you reach crisis and you take a massive dip, and your dip is below your normal, okay?
Yeah.
And at that time, you need time to recover. Like, I kid you not, I've slept 24 hours once. Utio Kayo, and then I'd sleep. Utio Kayo, I'll go toilet break, drink water, sleep. Like, no human interaction, no social media, no nothing. Like, I like those days like that.
But then when you have those days, your parents will be like, is something wrong with you? Do you want to talk?
Yeah.
Like, are you dead? Like, Zani, let me be.
Yeah. I agree to that. Tara, with you having said, like, living alone is the situations, Mage. I would love to live alone right now. Tara, I think I would have to live with one more person. Because if I get ill, you can tell I'm dead. Okay? Like, I do not look after myself. I'm literally sleeping, not eating, not drinking, nothing. Like, ill body. But see, I guess I'm the nurse's best patient. Just so suit body, this is suti ranzo. But I'm not helping myself. Okay? Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not doing anything to myself.
Yeah.
So it's like, in that scenario, I never thought that was a trigger point until my sister recently pointed out. She was like, yeah, Tola, you need someone when you're ill. Like, you don't do anything. And I was like, oh, snap. Like, I really don't do anything. So I could be dying.
I'm the opposite. When I'm ill, I'm like so eager to get back to my good health. I think being physically ill is probably one of my biggest fears, okay? Because that ties into depending on someone. And it ties into, for somebody who's a hyper independent person, that is one of the thing. I mean, I do like somebody bringing me soup or water, asking me how I am, but at the same time, I just want to be literally, because I know that a human can live on just water and hydrated for a few days. You don't really need food, but depends. I have not been so severely ill that I could not get up and make myself soup. I think, or order food and go to the
true. I think door. After COVID, I realized what kind of ill person I am. Man, irritate to nigga. Like, man, they irritate. I kid you not. It's so annoying. Why are you here? Type of thing. So when nurses will come to the gas, everything, and like, why? If they could do it across the room, I would love it. Like.
What is wrong with you? You also want somebody to take care of you, but also when somebody comes
I need someone to take care of me, or else I will die. My point is, I don't necessarily want them, but it's like it has to happen. Do you reckon
you give up when you're unwell, or do you just can't be bothered?
I just don't like humans when I'm ill, because when you're ill,
including yourself.
Yeah. So when you're ill, you do everything to make yourself better, Nita.
Yeah.
Yeah. Malai any access person that comes is just like they're hindering my
space,
hindering my space, hindering my growth vibes. Head my say
hindering your healing process.
So in my head, I'm just like, why are you here? It's just like, why? Just let me be, man. I'm surely.
But if somebody comes with food,
No, I still get irritated, man.
You
I
go
really
off
do.
food?
Custom. My mom, when the COVID in the time, I was so badly ill. Like prior going to the hospital, right? You can imagine why I went to the hospital because of these scenarios.
Yeah.
And then obviously you're isolated. Perfect illness for me. Going out on the pound na.
Mm.
Do you know? But they are worrying about me on the other side of the door.
Yeah.
And regardless of whatever you do, like I always have the rajma tarkari. You know, rajma tarkari and rice. That's like my ultimate comfort food. If I'm not eating anything, give me that, I'll eat it. And that's when I knew I was like, okay, Mary, like this is getting serious. Force it in. I was like forcing it, but I just couldn't eat it again.
Oh.
And after that, it was like, yeah, snap, bye bye.
Oh, okay. So when you're unwell, living with your parents and living with your sister is a bit of a nuisance for you, I guess.
Yeah, it makes sense basically. It's
Yeah.
logically, it logically makes sense. Okay, not that.
But at least you have your own room, Anna.
Yeah, I have my own
Like
room.
I share my room with my sister, and
I could not. I could not. I've shared rooms until I was like 17 years old, I guess. We're talking like hostels to bots. I think you always share a room with my sister.
Yeah.
And I'm glad like for the last 10 years I haven't had to. And I absolutely love it.
God. Imagine sharing your room with your sister who has completely opposite personality and completely opposite schedule to you. Right? I'm a nocturnal person. I like to be on my phone until 4 in the morning and then sleep until midday or until 11 a.m. And then that's my routine. Like, I'm not a morning person. My sister is not a morning person, but also she likes to sleep early. So my sister sleeps a lot more than I do, especially on her days off. And boy, add a cat to that who likes to sit on your chest while you're sleeping.
And you're allergic to cats as well, boy.
And what allergic to cats, right? And my cat is violent. So basically, this cat, she likes to sleep right in the middle of my sister and I, right? We have a king size bed, but this cat just takes up one person's space. And if you try to move the cat, be ready to go into battle. Be ready to go into battle. You will come out with scratches, basically. You will eventually move the cat, but not for long. But you will still get scratches. And I'm like, why? And she's so violent. You're sometimes scared of it. I'm like, oh, I know.
Still like no point as well.
Anyway, yeah, cat, your sister who has a different schedule to you. Oh my God. I'm like sleeping. You know when you've slept at 5 in the morning and you're only about 2-3 hours into the sleep and my sister has to go to work. So she has to get ready. So this bright light is on your face. And she's making that noise. And sometimes we both don't help each other because we do like to disturb each other. We're like, what? That's right.
So toxic.
I said, this is, what is like a
subtle way.
Yeah, subtle way. I used to go to next to her. I used to put my feet right next to her pillow and I used to jump. That she was like,
if you've been on a holiday with me, Nandidi, everyone's experienced this. Say it's a disclaimer. Like, once in a lifetime you've experienced it. We've all been there. Although she doesn't stop there. Kitchen what's that freaking metal pan or whatever. So
but
annoying.
That's only on a holiday. I don't do that at home.
Yeah, because
so you guys got the worst of it.
It's so annoying, man. What's up?
My mom. Like, I don't get along with my mom. I don't think this...
She was just talking.
Yeah.
FYI, she was just telling me about Kare before we were recording. She was like, oh, me and Mina, we don't get along. We both born on Sombar.
just Hido Rati, last night, we had a fresh argument. Oh my God. Sometimes my mom does not know how to shut up. And... even when people are trying to disengage in the argument with her, she still keeps going. And she uses nasty, nasty words. Like dirty, nasty words that you feel like, can you just go and wash your mouth with soap? That's not how it goes, okay? So, yesterday, basically, I came down, I was hungry and I was making something and she said something. And I said, okay, like, you don't have to, I was literally in the kitchen for 2 minutes and she started yapping. And I was like, please, like, I don't want to talk at this moment. And that set her off. She was like, you guys don't want to talk to your own mom. And I'm like, why did the conversation have to go down that deep?
Yeah.
All I said was, I cannot talk with anybody right now. Like, don't talk to me. She was like, yeah, भोलि पर्सि तिमीहरूको बच्चाले पनि तिमीहरूलाई त्यस्तै गर्दाखेरि बल्ल थाहा पाउलास् मेरो आमाले मलाई यस्तो गरेर पाले थियो भनेर. And I'm like, all I said was, don't talk to me for 5 minutes. I've just woken up, right?
Exactly. Call the therapist because emotional damage is unreal.
Oh my God. And she was like, and she started crying. And I'm like, why are you crying?
I hate... Can I just point out, I hate when they try to win arguments crying.
By crying.
And then they go, I'm a bola ruane bachaharu. Like,
मेरो ममको त, I'll tell you, she has a set pattern that I've worked out over the years. At first, she's the one who instigates. So she's somebody who bottles it in and then explodes. But she bottles in 2-3 days and then she explodes every 5 days or so. Okay. What she does, right? At first, she instigates. She says something to you. Even if you do a tiny, something's broiling under, right? She's like unhappy. Something's bothering her, and somebody has said something that has made her angry, but she didn't address it, right? And then it's another family member enters the room, does one tiny thing wrong, maybe leaves an unwashed mug in the sink, or maybe does not wash their plate straight away. And then she pours everything onto that person. She instigates an argument with that person, right? And even if that person, literally last week, she's done that to my dad. And in both scenarios, we both said, do not, like, okay, we're not going anywhere with this argument. Let's stop it right there. We both tried to disengage, but she's further coming in, like invading your space, personal space, to instigate fight, right? And then when she doesn't win an argument, because obviously she doesn't, because she's making a mountain out of a molehill. She cries. She starts crying. And she says things like, oh, just because I don't work and I don't earn, you guys are you guys are walking all over me. And I'm like, how did it get to that point? That's definitely not our thoughts. That's your own insecurity coming out. And you're literally projecting it on us. And we said, nobody is saying that to you. You're saying that to yourself because you're unhappy. Now, if I'm like somebody who looks into the person and knows, kind of has an idea of where they're coming from, and then I like to point it out to them again. She doesn't like that. And then she starts crying, and then also after that comes manipulation, right? She starts to justify why she said what she said. Hana? And she tries to make it look good. And she tries to, and this is her thing, she drags somebody else, like a bystander, she manipulates that bystander to her side against the person that she didn't win the argument against. You know, that's one of her, that's a set pattern. Let's not even go there. So basically, she manipulates, she tries to get as many people to your side as she can by manipulating, by crying, by making her look
victimized.
She victimizes herself. And then when we are the one who don't want to talk to her, right, we're giving her the silent treatment. She also gives us silent treatment, right? And after 2-3 days,
she needs something.
No, she doesn't need something. She starts instigating again. Like, she literally says, oh, so now you're not talking to me. It's a cycle, okay? It's a cycle that she goes through. And she goes through it herself, but also whoever
Drains
is in front of
everyone
you, she grabs that person and drains her themselves. And I sometimes also find it quite pitiful, banalini. I do feel bad for her that she's in such an unhappy space that she doesn't feel right that somebody else is happy, but also she's impossible to talk to, okay? So it's like, if somebody doesn't want help, if somebody is unhappy and insecure place, and if somebody doesn't want to work on themselves, nobody else can make that person work on themselves.
I 100% agree. I agree.
So Anyway, I like to live alone because of my mom. One of the most important things.
Only person that matters.
Only person.
I actually, my relationship with dad is almost like your relationship with your mom. I know?
Yeah.
But this is a dark humor, but he can't speak anymore, so there's no back and forth. But
I will go to hell for laughing at that.
I'll go to hell for saying it. But I have a dark humor, I can't help. But
I mean, to be honest, your dad still becomes an ass by writing, though.
Yeah.
Even if he can't speak.
So he writes, hindsight, he's got cancer. He's struggling. He's got tumor that's literally there. He's in pain 24/7. Understandable, but that doesn't mean you are shit to your family. My point, say. World go yeah, they're like, man, like the bichara, he's got cancer, whatever. Yeah, like I would feel the same if and someone else dad was having it with now. And you feel pitiful for the person, you feel sorry for the person having to go through, you feel the world is unfair, whatever. I'm not comparing like my illness was greater than his or whatever, my libana was going on. I mean, it does sound like that. And I thought, like I said, I do not like to trouble anyone when I'm ill. I'm just by myself. I'm doing minding my own business. So dad say, when he's ill, he wants the whole world to come on his feet.
He also likes to drain everybody
everyone.
around him.
A very toxic person go trait there, and it's so bad to the point that my mom, she's a very Nepali mom, Nepali wife who she's basically dedicated wife. She's taught by her mom that you should always respect your husband. Your husband is like everything. Your Shriman is the god, whatever. I could never be her, and I would never recommend anyone to be her. Anyhow, she works hard. She works hard, but I mean hard, She takes days off on the days my dad has chemo for her to stand outside the ward because she's not even allowed in. And she does his dressing every day. Like basically, Biana works on when she makes him breakfast. Everything that you can think of, she does it for him. Okay? Handles the emails, everything, any phone calls and whatnot. And I do some of it as well.
Yeah.
So me and mom are more on that role. And when I can't fulfill, my sister steps in.
Yeah.
So we are hands on with him. And because I live away from home, the time I have more free time to do more of the admin side of things. So that's how we work. Physically, not any. But my dear father has no ounce of appreciation for it. Whatever is going through his head, who's got mental health issues, all that, whatever. We've talked as a family, like, he's a bakare. If you got things to talk about, I know you're in the army, you would tell to toughen up, whatever. But let us know, like, we need to talk through things. Things gets hard. Like, I know you have cancer, you're the masculine breadwinner, now you're not. So it's just, usko ego didn't hard baza. I know that, because 3 years ago now.
Yeah.
No, actually, nearly 4 years ago, when we had an argument, he kicked me out of the house. His biggest point was, toilet ke pani gardena, I am the fucking everything. I am the reason why my house is everything. But the roles have switched. The roles switched. So this is why you have to stay humble, okay, guys? I know. Point to you, eh? Learn from Mr. Manbather. So our bro like bhanna sakechaina ni ta malai.
Yeah.
Because he's said the nastiest thing he could say. Mukta chhadदैन है bro र sisle चाहिँ हैन. He said the nastiest things he could have said hurt गर्ने wise मा के like feelings are piercing through like layers नै छैन छेडेर निस्कियो अर्को साइड बाट. It was that bad के कसम है. But now the roles have switched.
Yeah.
Now bro needs the kanchi sorry. Now bro has to rely on me. Now bro has to do like सबै उसको wife र छोरीमा dependent भन्छ नि त अहिले.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want to ask help for other people, which I can understand. I would rather not trouble अरू मान्छे as well.
Yeah.
अनि अहिले चाहिँ ब्रोलाई चाहिँ he's struggling with himself to accept the fact that he has to take help from us भनेर के. Understandable. We're trying to understand his part as well, but उसको part understand गर्दै छु उसलाई he's got like a terminal illness which is getting done worse and worse and like there's no end to it, like he probably thinks he's dying, whatever. त्यो part छ तर living with a person that you resented at one point in your life and you're trying to help them recover is a different kind of it creates a different kind of resentment layer, okay? You moved on from the past resentment, you're better now, you know. But this new layer of resentment that you have, like, it's just okay.
It feels unjustified, right?
Yeah.
It feels very unjustified. Okay? It's almost like you put me through so much, right? And I have worked on myself to forget that and heal, but now I have to work through your trauma by also there's a byproduct of that trauma on me. So I've now just healed from what you gave me, but now I have to re-heal again this new trauma that you have brought on me again. So it does feel like a bit unjustified.
It's like gumi firi rooms at our one you just come to the same cycle. It's not the same path, but it is the same cycle.
Yeah.
And it's the things are even worse now because he is the real victim. अहिले चाहिँ फेरि पहिला चाहिँ victim बने हैन अहिले चाहिँ real victim नै हो के, like everyone can see what he's been through, what he's going through, and we're trying to understand that. So but what he forgets and what the society and what relatives forgets is we are our own individual. So we're trying to avoid kids around dad because of the immune system and everything. I need doctor's advice to do so, you know. So Dosima, when kids were around, dad literally went to his room because he wanted to isolate, whatever. Only my mom's friend had a birthday party. She invited mom. My mom didn't go, okay?
Yeah.
But my mom realized birthday party ma kids ko birthday party ma kids ne aउँछ नि त.
Yeah.
She shares the same room with dad, so she can't be anything she catches passing on to dad, you know.
Yeah.
So that was the analogy. So usko friend laji, she said, I'm not coming to your kid's birthday party because of my husband's reason. And I have a friend on my social media. Social media ni culprit hai orko. So obviously me and Manaslu, we are going out. First few months of the whole year, we never went out. I mean, like, we were shielding literally, you know. And then we were like, just like, how long are we gonna do like this? This is unsustainable. It's affecting our mental health.
Yeah.
You know? And we were like, you know what? Okay, we'll go out as long as we don't associate with kids, whatever. We'll go out. We'll be safe. We'll come back. And I kid you not, we isolate in our own rooms. Okay?
Yeah.
And obviously we are going out. We're partying. We're having drinks. It's not even partying like partying. Birthday like we're not even going every Friday, but it does seem like it. And then she apparently made a comment to my mom saying, "Oh, तपाईं मात्रै होला घरको त कोही जान्दैन," types, like somewhere along the lines, okay? And that pierced my mom. She was like, I can't even tell you guys to stop because you have your own lives. I know. But I can't, because she is a people pleaser and she gets bothered by comments like this.
Yeah.
And usko head man say she's deeply affected because of it, okay?
Yeah.
Because of just like these, I guess.
I know, like when somebody's going through that kind of situation, first of all, don't be petty about it. I have one of my best friends. He's very immunosuppressed.
Exactly.
And, and they live their life so strictly during COVID. Even now, they live their life. But I'm not gonna go and make petty comments at them because at the end of the day, they're doing what they think is to protect themselves. Because that's their trauma, their way of living life. If it's not affecting mine, who the hell cares? And second of all, what people need to understand is what they see is your dad going through frustration, going through a whole change in reality. And obviously that's going to affect his mental health. And obviously he's going to go through moments and phases of frustration, and he's going to take it out on everybody around him. That's which is you guys now. But also people need to understand is bichara, he's going through frustration, you guys have to be patient type go. No. Okay, they have a life of their own. you guys have been, as far as I've seen, you guys have been so patient with them. Like your lives right now, 3 of your lives literally revolves around your dad.
Unreal. It's unreal. And like you said, it revolves around him. So 7 days a week, 2 days a week, the time of by the keyboard.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I literally have no day off. I'm not even kidding. The days that you see me on social media are my days off, and I'm doing things because it's someone else's birthday. It's the one.
Yeah. And the thing is, you don't even have to justify that you're going to important events, and you do what you want to do on your day off. Because one, we have to really, really remember is, while taking care of somebody who's unwell, whether that's physically or mentally, you have to make sure that the person who's taking care of them does not become unwell mentally or physically. And one thing to do in order to prevent that is that you maintain a healthy balance of your life while you're taking care of somebody. It's almost like, the whole analogy of you're the tree. If you don't water yourself well, what are you gonna bear? You're not gonna bear good fruits.
Yeah. So like the air is not as great as it should be for someone who's recovering. It's like my mom's going through issues because she's getting burnt out, and I've been telling her, you're gonna get burnt out, but I'm it's not gonna happen. I'm just letting her it's so bad, but she needs to go to crisis to realize what is actually getting to her.
What she's doing to herself. Yeah.
So it's not gonna happen. Like I make sure I take little breaks to myself because of my mental health issues, and I only take what I can take. But obviously I'm actually overloading Goda vibes, but but I take my days off. I know it's not as bad as mom. She thinks she's 24/7 dedicated, whatever. Okay.
But the thing is also, the good thing about living together with your parents as an adult, even though they're well enough, is the whole thing that you can help around with things like this.
Yeah, definitely.
Like physical presence is so important, and also it's convenient, because I think for us immigrant children, our parents don't have the linguistic ability to deal with letters in English, to deal with appointments in English, to deal with anything that's in English. You certainly need that other person. We are like the admin of the house. We have to deal with it. And us being physically present in the house makes it so much easier. Yeah.
And they feel like it's a lot safer as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I agree with that. Like things around the house when I come from my work, obviously you notice like the bathroom's unclean because no one actually has the time to do it.
Yeah.
And you in the past, like when I was a lot younger, I'd have been like, why is it not clean? Or the bratty way, I guess.
Yeah.
But now I just like don't care. I just clean. On a weekly shopping, I do it. I take it upon myself because no one actually has the time to do it. So when I come back from my Orkokam, I do shop, or before I leave, I make sure everything's there. So they don't have to step out the house. So little things like that. Yeah. So a relative entering the house or whoever coming to the house, they don't really see what you go through behind that. The actual 1 hour, 2 hours they spend just seeing it. So to your scene, they're like, oh, if the scene we are not home for work reason, it's fine. But in that scene, suppose we are outside socializing, they have issues. They're like, okay, so why are you not slaving for your dad? But that's our time off.
Why are you not in the house making sure he's okay? I'm like, he's okay.
Yeah, he's fine. He goes gardening outside. So what do you want me to do? Do you want me to feed him?
And the thing is, I think our society must say what we do not understand is when you're taking care of somebody who's unwell, make sure that you're promoting and enabling their independence as much as you can. You do not make that person dependent on you because you are taking away that last piece of dignity away.
And Hama Nepali culture must say it is there because when you're elderly, this I heard a lot of times growing up, suddenly after you hit the age like 50, 60, you're old, okay?
Suddenly your hands and feet don't work for anything.
Suddenly, Buhari has to do everything, your Nati has to do everything. I'm like, why? My mom and dad, they're like 57, 50 something. They both work. And obviously, dad doesn't. He does gardening. He does things that I can't even imagine. He's got so much knowledge that I don't have in terms of agriculture and like basic things. I don't know, because we are like tech kids.
Yeah.
So, so then they are happily willing to do it. So, who are you to tell they shouldn't be doing it?
Yeah.
If they want to, they will.
Exactly. But also, now that my mom is like a bit toxic, right? And then Dios's mom. Let's talk about that.
In-laws.
In-laws. When I live in this house, like even just this morning, I woke up at like 8:45 and I went for a run, and auntie was already in the kitchen. She had a shower, she did her puja, she was already in the kitchen cooking breakfast. Dios's mom is hyper independent in doing things that she knows how to do, right?
That's my mom as well.
Yeah.
That is my mom.
She's very hyper independent. And I used to feel bad, but also at the same time, I felt like I've offered enough help for you to, and I've proved myself that I'm able to do those things. But if you're still not going to let go, then I'm not going to get in your way, because that's just going to create tension, right? So I take a back seat and help out with whatever I can, which is a little bit cheeky on my part, but also at the same time, I can't help somebody who's not ready to help themselves. Yeah.
Or want to be helped.
Yeah, or want to be helped. This will come with like years and years of trust with each other, okay? But also, she has, in areas such as reading a letter or writing a text or writing something or reading something in English, I know that she's capable, but she does not have the confidence to do it. Okay?
Be hesitant.
Yeah, she's very hesitant. She's very anxiety. Her anxiety level is something else. Okay? Like she will wake up in the middle of the night and come running because her heart beats like through the roof. Okay? And only because she's worrying about something that's going on. Like for example, this is how ridiculous she gets with her anxiety. I shouldn't call it ridiculous, right? Somebody's anxiety level is their anxiety. I feel bad for her. So basically, she bought a ticket for Nepal without finalizing her annual leave, right?
Okay.
And now she's worried that she's not going to get her annual leave approved. And that's keeping her up at night. Okay, you do worry about it, but that's not something that would wake you up and make your heart race in the middle of the night at 2-3 in the morning.
Bro, like my dear grandmother, the anxiety go root male beta. It starts from her. I was like, why am I so anxious? Like, I'm an anxious person, but I'm not that extreme enough, luckily. Anything I ever get anxious, I analyze, I sort of like analyze what's happened, the aftermath, okay? Why, what led me to it, but I sort of self-analyze it, I guess. So that's helped a lot. So my dear grandmother, she fractured her leg recently, ankle. Her bones are very delicate because she doesn't move around. Like everything bad does. So she's like, oh, how do weak saw? And I'm like, yeah, because you don't mobilize. So this is what I mean, like, moving is so important. Just because you're bad, you just like, oh, no, that's not the point. Like, you need to mobilize to keep your bones and muscles moving.
That comes from lack of knowledge.
Yeah. I'm not unless we started working in healthcare. So my body just chills at home all day. Din or something, she basically slipped one step and then she fractured. And the doctor said, "Mere topic of bones are ekdam weak. So after your fracture plaster over, we need to go through medications, revisit your medication because she's diabetic. Obviously, it takes longer to heal. Hypertension, like anything Nepali, you name it, she has. And doctor. And I saw that she fractured her leg. My cousin story man. So I called her immediately. She's got Facebook now. 2 rings she picks up. Like, I don't really call grandma. I mean, I should. But whenever I miss them or it's their birthday, I always make sure I call them.
Yeah.
So she feels like, oh, I shouldn't call them. They're at work. How you feeling on it? It's like, bless her. But anyways, I called her and she's like, डक्टरले त एकदम हड्डी खिएछ भनेछ क्यान्सर पो लाग्यो क्या हो So she's losing sleep over the fact that the doctor said her bones are weak. Cancer लाग्यो भनेर. Make it make sense. Extreme छैन क्या. अनि my mom is exactly like the Ostai's mom. हैन? So when she's confident kitchen मा भात खाएपछि हाम्रो house को rule चाहिँ we can't leave dishes in the sink. That's the rule हैन? I don't know why, but it makes me छ भने. So कसैको घरमा if I go with the dishes, I always do the dishes.
Yeah.
It's just anyways, भात खायो and then like whoever eats first, they leave.
Yeah.
Regardless of how tired she is, like if she's cooked, usually Orokomansi does the dishes.
Yeah.
She can't because she has to do it. Like it has to be her.
It makes you admire their energy level, right?
त्यो बेला मात्रै हो फेरि. And then after that, she's just chilling. Like when I saw my mom in Nepal, when I went on holiday, bro, she's not her. She's different. I can tell she's a lot happier there, no? And they want to go back, but obviously because of dad's illness, they can't. She's different. Nebamata, like she's on a roll. She's going bank. She's doing this, everything. Honestly, in the UK, like she's educated. She can speak English. She can understand it, but she still gets anxious. Getting served by a customer, getting served, like एकदम रातो भइजान्छ कि त्यो hot flush हुन्छ नि एकछिनमा आउँछ के like and every time she has to take money out of the bank and I'm like bro you used to do that like non-stop in Nepal. So it's the same thing, but she gets a very flustered like I don't know like judge feel हुन्छ कि
it's a different set of insecurity, okay?
Yeah, and I can't understand, but obviously I have to be patient with her and I encourage her. But by saying that, I probably don't say, oh, mommy, go on. I'm probably like, mommy. Yeah. I probably say it just the tone, ma. But you learned from them as well.
Yeah. Living with in-laws, and at first you feel a bit off-taro. But also at the same time, I'm a bit shameless. Like, I never really became somebody that I was not in front of them. And I was never about, lazmanni and all that. So I
acting like soju kitty.
Like patch bolne. I was always like that. Tara, what we have problems with in divorce cows. These feel like tiny inconveniences. Tara, it does happen on a daily basis. We've only got one telly, right? In my house, nobody watches telly. Everybody's on their iPad, on their computers, on their phones. Everybody watching their own thing. We don't really. Our TV is probably collecting dust. In their house, sitting around the telly as a family, eating together and watching telly is like a family thing that happens every evening. So obviously Divas and I don't get the remote until it's like 10 or half 10 in the night after they go to their room. So every evening Divas and I are just sat at the sofa. When I even sat in our room, it feels almost criminal for me to sit in my room.
Divas like a house is like my house. It's my house.
Oh my god. In my house, we don't even eat together. We will probably see each other like we all eat at different times. We all are hanging out there in our own rooms. Yeah, we do have family time every now and then, but we're not massive on family time. But our time in the evening, we're all sitting around the sofa. I'm on my phone, Divas is on the phone. Auntie's either on her Hindi serial, or uncle is in his some document. Sometimes we'll have 1 or 2 programs that we would want to watch together. But also it has to be Hindi because auntie cannot understand English. I know. Sometimes that happens. But then auntie has her own particular TV and all that. And Divas and I can't say anything because we don't pay for the telly. It's not our house. Like, if it was back in Nepal, that wouldn't have been a problem. We'd be fighting over the telly because there's no such thing as it's not mine. But here in the UK, the definition of independence in a family dynamic has changed. Now I feel like, oh my god, I can't say anything because this is not my house. I did not pay for it.
Yeah.
This the feeling
like for example, my friends were like,
yeah, I don't feel like it's my house.
That's not my house. That's my mom and dad's house.
Yeah.
So that house has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
So if they want to sell it, sell it. That's not my house.
Yeah.
Like, whatever money that comes out of it, it's not my house.
Exactly.
And the people who are staying there, they treat that as their house. And I'm just like, that's really not your house. That's my mom and dad's house.
Yeah.
That's not but there was like a family is literally my family.
Oh.
So dad is just watching. Like, it gets so bad to the point. Sunday on that.
Where the audience?
Sunday on the. And my dad, bizarre, bless him. He's so bored.
Yeah.
He is to like Nepal vloggers. I applaud you. Thank you so much for making my dad's life entertaining. It has gone to that point. That's a road matre. So there is a vlogger. I don't know what his name is. Because he's always on the telly. He just dirt bike ma jन्छ अनि रोड मात्रै भ्लग गर्छ के
नेपालको
बोल्दैन लाइक रोड मात्रै अनि कहिलेको बच्चाहरुसँग बोल्यो भने बोल्छ हो त्यस्तो खालके के अनि one time they went past my house and they were like ooh हाम्रो घर like you know and that's so cute ke like अनि बेलुका evening time मा चाहिँ is Voice of Nepal because my mom loves music.
Oh my god, yes.
And me and Manasu, we love music. I mean, my mom's the only one who can actually sing. No one can play nothing, I know. I could play Tibetan drums, but that's about it. Voice of Nepal. They are actively voting.
And they're voting as well?
Bro, they're intense. At one point, we were watching Love Island together, and then we were like, okay, maybe it's a bit extreme. So we just stopped, because Dad was just not a very big fan of girls walking around with their tits everywhere, no?
Yeah.
So, as a family, Belkama evening when I'm home, dinner सँगै खाने पर्छ. Like, they literally message you, what time are you coming home? It's dinner time. And we eat dinner together, we do the dishes together, and then Sohama basta, mom and dad sit in the same sofa. Yeah. Me and Manaslu on the other one. At least 1 hour by Pani, we have to sit. And then it's acceptable to go to your bed after like 10 o'clock-ish.
It is acceptable to go to your bed. 30-year-olds, almost 30-year-olds.
It's not के नत्र त के गर्ने छत चाहियो हैन सुत्नु पर्यो. So you're just watching whatever they're watching and they're having a proper conversation. Oh, आज यसले कस्तो राम्रो गयो त्यो जजको comment I don't like it, you know. I just have to say oh. So you usually have dessert, cake or tea or fruit, whatever त्यही बेलामा अनि and then you go to your room.
No, but sometimes your parents, like, what kind of comments do they make when they watch telly? Sometimes I look at Diwaskar dad and I'm like, what makes you say that? Sometimes sometimes and most times he talks to himself. Okay? He just talks very loudly. Everybody listens, but nobody responds to him. He just talks to himself.
My sister and my dad. My dad, obviously. My sister, if you notice, on a car journey, she doesn't like the awkward silence. Okay? अनि त्यसको conversation, like stimulating conversation गर्न आउँदैन नि तँलाई बिचारा, bless her heart. ओइ त कुरुख हैन कस्तो है? Wow, blue sky. Like, yeah, sky is blue.
Just meaningless
statements. Ke?
But also, you know, what I envy of those people is that their perspective is so naive and so innocent. It's very uncorrupted. Okay? It's
which
pure.
Is very good. Okay? No?
Pure. Okay? Like, you see the joy in little things.
Yeah. On
the other hand, somebody on this other side is like rolling their eyes. I'm like, is that your input of the hour? Like, blue sky, really?
I know. Like, sometimes, like, you know, when you're in the zone, like when you're driving and I'm like, Marcy, you don't have to make comments about everything. And she's like, and she's like, Boneko ni? Bono ne? And then the other bitch, why did you have to say that? Now I feel like a shitty person.
They turn it around, eh? Yeah. Effortlessly. They don't even have to say anything.
No, manipulate gonna try. That's just like, like you just like ground it back to the floor. Like why am I doing this? Like I don't have to be humbled. Like life is not complicated like that. I know. It's just so cute. You're just like, why?
Diwas is like that.
Yeah, Diwas is like that. I mean, they're both Libras. It makes sense.
Yeah. It's almost like, you know, sometimes I look at him and I'm like, you don't have to talk every 2 minutes, okay? They look at you with such a sad face, with such a puppy face. I feel like a bitch saying that to you.
Yeah.
Like, did you really have to like
Do that.
do that? Kosto. I swear.
No, I
to you,
understand.
man.
I completely understand because my sister's like that, and it's so funny at the same time. So living, basically wrapping up things.
Yeah.
Living with the family is great, but it could be better, considering like you had your own space and etc. I personally wouldn't live with like my whole family as a whole. Say that I think I would like someone to live with,
Oh,
even
okay.
if it's a friend, even if it's a sister.
Yeah.
Just like someone to check up on and someone to check
Yeah.
into, because I think as humans we need that of a interaction. If not someone living in with you, at least have a decent neighbor or someone who's there on the call, very close by bus naked.
Yeah.
Because you need that at the end of the day.
I know, right? Sometimes I feel like, you know, when you like really old people come into A&E, yeah? And then they have had long lies. Long lies is like when you've fallen, but without help, has laid there for hours, okay? Without help. And I feel like sometimes they come in and they're like, oh, 90-year-old living by herself, or like 64-year-old but very fragile and, you know, living by themselves. Their children don't live with them, their whatever don't live with them. Sometimes people come in and they have no next of kin.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, how did it get to that point? And I do feel like when you're living in a house, especially in a 3-bedroom house with people of different personalities, there are so many clashes.
That's just bound to
and
be.
you don't even get the space and the privacy to deal with your own emotions, deal with that argument by yourself, because you're constantly in each other's face physically, but also at the same time, I mean, there are perks to living with your family. Malaysia, for me, the ideal situation is I don't want to live with my parents, but also I want to live close by so that I can check on them. I can help them out whenever I can.
Definitely, I agree. Like, close by, so definitely you have to. The radius, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Very much needed. Like when you said about the person not having next of kin or this, I think that's one of my fears.
Yeah.
That's one of my fears. Obviously, I'll have my sister always, and thought she'll have life of her own at one point.
Yeah.
And she's the only family member that's going to be like more grow old. I think we've discussed this in the podcast before. But having said that, I can't be the needy one telling her, "Oi, mero yo all the time."
Yeah.
Because you're so independent, right? And you are empath, so you understand they have the life of their own. So it's not a very good blend together. Is it? So in that terms, say selfishly, I want to be with someone so I can be there for them and they can be there for me without the ties of being family or being, someone you chose. You
basically want a cohabitant.
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
not technically in a romantic relationship.
Yeah, can be a romantic relationship, can be not. It's just for those reasons. I think you need someone.
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay, probably like one of the last questions. If you had a house of your own and your parents had a house of your own, like just nearby, would you give them your spare key?
Good question.
Knowing your parents, would you give them your spare
Good question.
key?
Boy, like if this was me 5 years ago, I wouldn't. I would not.
Yeah.
But now we've understood like all the space like that we need and these keys for emergency Yeah, I would. But very doubtful as well. I think I would, just in case. I don't know. Maybe I give it to my sister. Can that be an option?
Mother, I wouldn't. I would have their spare keys.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't give them my spare key. My scare would probably be locked outside the house somewhere for emergencies, and they will know. Well, they will only know when the emergency happens. But no.
So if you had to live on your own, what's your ideal? What would you live? Would you have a house? Would you have a flat?
I don't mind. Ideally, a house with garden because I love garden. But because Diwash and I are in the process of looking at houses and hopefully we're hoping to buy a house within next year.
Uh-huh.
No, we have saved up a little for it. We're looking at houses, and we're like falling in love with houses that are like beyond
Beyond
our
your
budget.
budget. That's the
I mean,
problem.
there's one house that we really, really like, and it's really under our budget, but it's in Basingstoke, which is like 20-25 minutes drive from here. And I am more than happy to move, and I think he's more than happy to move. But still, you feel like, oh, your parents are like 20-25 minutes drive. And if one of our parents had an appointment or one of our parents had done, that's like a 1 hour drive.
Yeah, I think Basingstoke, when we were planning to move out there, but with like that situation now, it means if you move to Basingstoke, we'll get on with our lives. Yeah. But that means he'll have no one to come see him. So we were like, do you know what?
That's the thing,
You have to consider a lot of things.
Exactly.
So you're like, okay, I guess, yeah. But if I were to live alone, as for now, I mean, if you're talking 60 whatever years old, obviously a bungalow make sense because you don't have to climb the stairs, whatever, and your neighbors are of the same age. Or let's say, I think I would love to live in a flat by myself, not a studio, 1 bedroom.
Yeah.
Because obviously I love cooking, and then bedroom, not very good idea.
Exactly. I don't want a big house. Well, right now, I don't want a big house because I just bloody hate tidying up. I pretty much hate any kind of housework unless it's DIY. I love fixing things. I love putting up furniture. I love drilling holes and, all that shit. But I absolutely hate tidying up. I hate cleaning up. I hate cooking. Basically, I'm not the conventional housewife.
I love cooking, I know. But I don't like cooking for like docility or whatever. Not that. I like cooking what I want to cook to the people I love. Yeah. To a point, man. I love to feed. I'm a feeder. But cleaning, is therapy to me. Yeah. So when I'm like, I need a clear space, procrastinate, I clean.
I clean when I procrastinate as well. I have a ton of things to do. No, I should be cracking up with them. But then in my head, I'm like, I have this cleaning to do. Then I start cleaning it because I feel like I'm doing something useful, but also to kind of chip away on the guilt of procrastinating.
Was it like, I'm such a nurturer, I've realized that now, okay? If I'm not cleaning, if I'm not cooking, on the like very feminine aspects.
Nurture if you're not unwell.
Yeah, if I'm not, if I'm well, unwell on it, let's just leave it at that.
She needs to be nurtured.
I don't want nurturing.
Oh my god.
The Home Sense, TK Maxx, B&M's, Asda Home Side, please stay away from me.
Hoarder. I am a hoarder as well.
Ordering way much I bring one thing and one out. Paila to hoarder definitely. One thing, one out. But organization skills are the nice pot. Why do I have to decant my laundry tablets? I decant into a nice jar that I bought.
But it stays organized only for a couple of days. After that, it's back to mess.
It's so annoying. It's so annoying. But anyways, things I do.
Yeah.
But if you were living alone, same mess, and then it's your mess.
Yeah.
It's not someone else's touched mess.
That's the thing, right? If I was living on my own, I wouldn't have anybody nagging on me to tidy up that thing. Yeah? I would do it in my own space on my own time. But anyway, I want to live alone. Maybe with Diwash, if we have a big enough space where he doesn't nag me. But also I do need that one person who nags a little bit. Not the amount that my mom nags.
To be fair, Dios Dai has OCD. So
yeah, he will do all the cleaning. To be honest, any of you out there who are possibly living with your parents or want to live on your own or saving for your first property, I do hope you...
I pray for you guys. And I hope you have been to one therapy session at least. Because it does help. It makes you realize things a little differently. And
Exactly.
will try to make sense of what you can do, really, I guess.
Exactly. And especially in Asian or Black community where parents don't know
The
privacy
boundaries.
or boundaries. I mean, we do feel for you, but
Oh
at the
my God.
same time, I think a lot of you wouldn't have it other way.
I'll just
I
have
don't
to
think so.
say boundaries kukura, privacy kukura. Like
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't put it earlier. At the age of like 18, it's my dad used to just storm in the room, yeah? Because he thought we were still little girls, Nita.
Oh.
I had to tell my mom, because I couldn't tell him,
Yeah.
why is dad storming in the room? We are old enough. Like,
Yeah.
we've got boobs, we've got everything.
Yeah.
Right? And then she had to tell my dad. And now, you know what he does? Tock, 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 tock. Got
And
around
still
the doorbell
storms?
here. And then I still had a word with her. Now he messages. It's the communication is key. He texts Talabada, Nanu, are you free? Like Nanu, like that's the communication, and I love it. So you need
That's
to
an improvement.
Yeah, you need to initiate as well.
Yeah.
You can't just be like mom le got enough, dad le got enough. You have to sort of put your own boundaries.
Yeah. Anything that is communicated and is well received, and the person has, enough understanding to grow from there. I think that's a workable situation. If that was the workable situation and my mom, I would love living at home. But fortunately, that's not the case.
I would love to live on my own. Hopefully next year or the year after I can move out. Physically.
Party!
And then I probably don't think my house will be a party house. It'll probably be like Debbie Downer.
You
like,
don't think it will be a
comfort
party
tea.
house, but the party will come to you anyway.
Yeah, like her. Like customer को मेरो going out मेरो Instagram personality मेरो real life personality मिल्दै मिल्दैन के. Instagram I'm like taking shots, wine, everything, you know. Every day is me like this, bro. चियासँग. This is me every day. It don't match. I'm living Hannah Montana life right now.
Oh my god.
Anyhow, thank you so much for watching and listening to us. If you got any suggestions, please come to sinergi.studio. I almost couldn't spell. And give us a thumbs up, share if you
Tell
care.
us what you want to hear us talk about. Give us ideas, basically.
Yeah, and then Spotify, I have to mention it again, you can rate. So please give us 5 shiny stars. That way we can reach more of you and we can bring more content out like this. That's all we're asking. It's all for free. Bye.